BB851, turn right heading 180. Order 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
Hey everyone, welcome to DJ's Aviation. In today's video, rather than answering a question like I usually do, I've decided I want to put forward a case and hopefully back up my point. Of course, we all share different opinions, so you don't necessarily have to agree with me on this. In today's video, I'll be giving my reasons as to why I personally believe Qantas should order the A350ULR. Of course, I'll be analysing in today's video what the A350ULR can offer the airline in terms of routes, range, specifications and the works, as well as diving into Project Sunrise once more, just to freshen up your memory, and anything else that will appear in this video that I've forgotten to mention in the introduction. Anyway, let's roll on and begin with the A350ULR. The Airbus A350, a fantastic series of aircraft with hundreds of planes ordered across two main variants. The A350 series is made up of the A350-900 and the A350-1000. Of course, there was an A350-800, however that was cancelled before it was actually made into a real life-size aircraft. As we move forward, Airbus continues to develop new variants of the A350-900 to better suit customer requirements. Our focus today is the A350ULR, ULR standing for Ultra Long Range. The definition of ULR is relatively straightforward, but I am well aware not everyone may understand the definition, especially if you're new to the aviation industry. So to be an ultra long range aircraft, the key lies in the range. Normal airlines like your typical 787, A321, A320, even the A380 will have their standard range being set at, for example, 8,000 kilometers. That's just a random number. What ULR aircraft, or ER for extended range aircraft, do is break the barriers of what is considered normal. Airlines that operate ULR aircraft are operating them not normally for all different purposes. For example, an airline may use the A330neo on a Singapore to Beijing route, or even a 30-minute flight, constantly swapping it up. Whereas airlines that use ULR aircraft are often ordering these solely to be placed on routes that are extremely long. To roll off, a few would be Doha to Auckland, Dubai to Auckland, Perth to London, and so on. While the aircraft operating these particular flights isn't necessarily the A350ULR, they are planes with quite a large amount of range. The A350ULR, to be precise, has a range of 18,000 kilometers or 9,700 nautical miles. Now, in regards to where I see this being beneficial with Qantas is in the following. Sydney to London is a route Qantas wish to operate one day. The non-stop flight from Perth to London with their Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner was kind of the first step in achieving this goal of Project Sunrise, which will be our next topic of discussion. But let's get back onto Sydney to London. Sydney to London is 16,983 kilometers in distance. The A350ULR's range, as I mentioned, is 18,000 kilometers, so this route is in fact possible. Let's now move on to Project Sunrise, where I'll analyse these routes in a little bit more depth. I've made a video on what Project Sunrise exactly is, and if you are interested in learning more about it, there'll be a card located in the top right of your screen right about now. Of course, in this particular video, I won't be going as in depth in this section, rather just touching on it enough to give you a background understanding of the goals of the airline. Project Sunrise is, as Qantas CEO Alan Joyce says, a last frontier in global aviation and a revolution for air travel in Australia. It's pretty much the ambition to have Airbus and Boeing create an aircraft capable of flying regular direct services from Sydney to London, Brisbane to Paris, and Melbourne to New York, all non-stop with a full payload. A full payload meaning at a maximum passenger and or cargo capacity by 2022. The reason for this project is to remove the need to stop midway, meaning your journey is uninterrupted. How does this relate to the A350ULR? Well, as I briefly touched on earlier, the range of this A350ULR is literally perfect for Qantas and fulfilling their project. Sydney to London is within range of this aircraft we're talking about. Melbourne to New York is also within range. And finally, so is Brisbane to Paris. All these routes that Qantas outlined as flights that they want to operate are sitting around the 16,000 to 17,000 kilometre mark, meaning there is plenty of Ks left over in case there is a need to divert or something like that. Alternatively, there's the Boeing 777-8, another up-and-coming aircraft set to feature as part of the latest variant of the new 777X series releasing in the early 2020s. However, with delivery for this, the 777-8, slated for around 2022, providing all goes according to plan that is, I personally feel this isn't the best option. Now, saying it isn't the best option doesn't mean Qantas couldn't do with the 777X. I personally do believe it'd be a fantastic aircraft within their fleet to replace the likes of the A380. For Project Sunrise though, the A350ULR is the best choice. The aircraft has a further 2,000 more kilometres of range over this, the 777-8. In fact, the Dash 8 is unable to operate a number of these routes because of its shortened range. Now, Boeing haven't actually completely confirmed the range of the new 777X series, but it is noted to be around 16,000 on their website. It could be 16,700, it could be 15,900, we don't know at this stage, but for video's sake I'm just going to stick with 16,000, and that's how I've got the figure of 2,000 more. And I know I actually mentioned that the 777-8 has the shorter range. I should mention, when I say it's shortened, it's more in comparison to the A350ULR. These two aircraft are leaps and bounds ahead of many other aircraft in terms of potential flying time. Why else do I believe the A350ULR would be beneficial, or why I think Qantas should order it? Well, it's also the endless possibilities the aircraft offers. While yes, Qantas have mentioned around 4 routes they'd ideally want to see it positioned on, the potential for other routes is truly endless, and this is what makes it so much more exciting. For me, a huge thing I've always wanted to see is my home airline expand, yes in terms of aircraft, but also destinations. While expanding into Asia is all well and good, and certainly a fantastic market, South America, South Africa, the US, Canada, Europe, India, and so on are all places I would love to see Qantas operate to. I do completely understand that some of these locations simply aren't viable, but in an ideal world, it'd be awesome to have Qantas, Australia's main international airline, connecting us with various different destinations. While I wouldn't necessarily fly to all these new destinations in the Qantas network, knowing in the back of my mind that it was possible to fly to them really adds a lot. The A350ULR makes all these new routes possible. Let's take a look at Singapore Airlines. They are the first customer to receive the A350ULR and will be placing it on a Singapore to New York service. This is 15,323 kilometers or 9,521 nautical miles, and means travellers can expect to be in the air for 19 hours or more. The A350ULR's capabilities also mean that it will help Singapore Airlines reclaim the title of the world's longest flight, further showing its fantastic abilities. Finally, while not being a reason why I believe Qantas should order the A350ULR, it's worth noting Airbus are quite confident they'll get the signature from Qantas for the A350ULR. The head of A350 marketing told media in Sydney on February the 12th, 2018, prior to the A350-1000 demonstration flight around Sydney with Qantas officials and engineers, that are we better placed than anybody else to meet it? Absolutely. Adding, what you see on the Dash 900 is just the beginning, and you are going to start seeing some of the developments in 2018. Yes, we are ready, and we will have to work hard, still, just to get that extra mile, literally, but we are very optimistic. To conclude, I would happily welcome the A350ULR to the Qantas fleet eventually. In saying that, I do also believe the 777X would be a fantastic addition. Qantas says the following: We want both manufacturers to have an aircraft that is capable of doing it. So maybe Qantas operating the two aircraft shouldn't be ruled out just yet. You tell me, would you like to see the A350ULR operate with Qantas, or maybe the 777-8, or maybe both? I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts in this. As always, if you're new to the channel, the subscribe button is always there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like as well, I'd very much appreciate that. I'd like to take the time now to thank you very much for watching this video of mine, and I look forward to you all joining me in the next installment of DJ's Aviation.
I will fly.